We begin with the simple mesh that we want to rig. It has teeth, eyes and a tongue, and we change the layer because we don't want a lot of dozens of controls mixed up with the geometry. So the Rig Vadar comes in 4 tabs. At the moment we're concentrating on the Prepper tab to create a rig. We go through nominating left and right corneas. It's important it's a cornea, it's not the actual eye, but it might be a composite thing. And the tongue, and pretty soon we're ready to draw out the rig. We start at the base of the neck and continue on and position the controls approximately the way we want. That's the chin bone. The chin bone's quite important, must follow the flow lines of the mesh obviously, and the head bone must come up through the top of the head, and that's the head control, which is now the eyes are very simply bones positioned, because we're going to move them, move the eyes physically through the arc of the eyelids. Lastly, it's the tongue. And we get a better, clearer idea of the tongue by hiding the others, and then we just position the 3 bones of the tongue. And what's going to happen when we rig is we're creating control splines. And lastly, one last check. I think we're going to fix up the eye control, which is perhaps a little large, but nevertheless works quite well. And now I think one last check and we're ready to press the Create Head Rig tab. Boom, there it is, it's done. And then we press the skin. There's 2 types of skin, basic and full. Full is if we intend to later place facial muscles on the mesh. And straight away we get fleshy eyes, and we get head movement. And I stress this is real time, it's not curtailed or sped up. This is precisely how long it took, about a minute. Each eye has custom attributes which affect the lids. And we have head movement, we have the jaw control. We can lock the eye control, so or pin it. In this case, we're pinning it, and the eye looks spookily to the target. And the collar holds all the attributes of the rig and moves everything along with it. And that's pretty much it. Now, having skinned the chin, this is what we find. We get the tongue, and we're looking at the tongue. It has a nice movements there with its controls. We can go left, right, up, down, and extend it using the nub. Now notice if we move the jaw control, it moves around, but if you move it beyond a certain point, we get penetration of the teeth, which is something we can avoid if we use a bone-based system, as we'll demonstrate later. Now, the philosophy of the Rig Vadar is to combine and integrate as many parameters, objects, custom attributes, and everything we can in the 1 or 2 controls. And we have the auspice type style sliders, C type, D, E, A, and B. Now, the first thing we're going to do, I think, is create a head control. We need a head control because that spline control is a bit clumsy, and we need something more intuitive and something which we can control a bit more finely. So we're creating a C-type slider, and notice we have the ability to actually control object translations, transforms, rotations, movements. We set the extremities of each movement, and that's it. That sets the lateral movement. Now we go for the vertical movement. the extremities of the vertical movement are set and added to the connector, left and right, or in this case up and down, and there it is. You have the slider which is moving the head, and these controls on the right modifier enable us to weight it so we can actually fine-tune things, so it's much more useful than that clumsy head control. Now we're connecting, I think, the eyebrow morphs. So this is one of the most basic requirements of a slider, is that it connect morphs. Well, of course the Rig Vadar does this, but it does a lot more. But in this case we're combining the eyebrow morphs, and as you see, it's complementary opposites being controlled by the C-type slider. As you'll see, we have to turn off the skin because it's a bit slow, and there you have it. You have the up, down and left, right movement of that slider, and we can initialize control from the right modifier. We can create a camera and then split the viewports, so the camera will be focused on the control, so we have a de facto set of slider controls on a separate window. And a lot of people wonder, why didn't you use .NET Windows for the interface? And the answer is it's a bit slow, and the splines are faster, and that's all there is to it. It doesn't really matter where you put these splines. If you have the camera locked to them, they can be anywhere. And now we're going back to the front view, and so we have a C-type controlling an object, a C-type controlling a morph, and now we're going to create a D-type which will be controlling the custom attribute parameters on the eye control. And you'll see in a moment, first of all, we have to expose the eye control from the collar, and then we're nominating the objects. The parameters sit on the objects, so we choose the objects, scroll down, and there they are. There are the parameters. We add them to the same section, and then we go to the right one, do the same thing. So we have both of them on the same slot of the D slider. You'll see why in a minute, because we're going to control the upper and lower lids. One will be going up, the other will be going in the reverse direction, and therefore we will have a blink. But there's more. First of all, we will position that. The Rig Vadar also allows for the addition of materials. So we have in fact, a normal bump map that's controlled by composite opacities, left and right, and we're going to put those on the slots as well. So now we have 3 things on each slot, which have been connected by the connector and controlled by the D-type slider. And on the right you'll see all the modifiers which give us great control: curves, weights, resets, zeros, and well, we've got to turn the skin on, of course, for anything to happen. And there you have it. But you notice that the lower lid is moving in the wrong direction, so it's simply a matter of changing the lower lid to negative on both left and right. A little bit of trouble finding it. It's down there, and there it is. So we have a blink, left and right, and winks, and but not only that, we have the opacity maps, or the composite maps, the normal bumps being controlled at the same time. And not only that, we can alter the fall off using the curves on the modifier. We'll return to the split view, and let's have a closer look at what's going on with the normal maps. We have the ability to zoom out and have a look at all the sliders. Now we'll zoom up here, we'll get a bit closer and get rid of that eye control using the collar. Also, every time you click the Rig Vadar icon, that brings up that modifier with all the collar in attributes on it. There we have all the C sliders working as expected. Now we're going to have a look. It's a bit slow because of the capture and the fact there's skin as well. Now we're going to check out the eyelids. Unfortunately, in not having nitrous, we can't have real-time display of the normal maps because my graphics card is pretty average on the laptop. But what we can do a quick play blast, and we will do a quick render just to see what the normal maps look like at the extremities of the squint. So that's normal and that's squint, so let's have like something halfway, and we'll render that, see what the normal maps look like. And yeah, they're not too bad, but let's get a closer look, I think. Oops, yep, here we go. So that's nice and smooth. I don't know whether the resolution is such that you can see this, but at the full HD resolution it's quite obvious that we have these normal maps. Here we are changing the fall off to make it a little more lasting as we go through the squint. So it's going to start early, and we're going to do the other with the same thing with the other eye, changing that fall off for the normal maps. And now I think we may as well animate the movement of the control just to see what effect it has over time. So you'll find throughout the Rig Vadar is connecting things that you normally wouldn't connect, and achieving results in such a short time. You'll see it's subtle at this resolution, but there it is. Moreover, we can group all of these attributes, all these sliders under the eye group, and we can link it and move it around. Now the advantage of this is all those sliders can now be put on a pose bar, which is the eye group pose bar, and once you press the link selected, you'll see all the things that it is controlling in that eye group. So in other words, we can create poses on the eyebrows, head and eyelids in combination, even though they're disparate things. There's CAs, custom attributes, parameters, morphs, and objects. We can still create poses with all of them in one simple pose bar. On the right, we can name a pose, which I think is peering, and we can create a slider which will give us that will give us that pose in effect. So it's created a separate slider called downcast, and as we move it, it moves into that configuration. Now the next thing we'll be looking at is the motion capture facility, which is can be useful. In other words, all the movements of all the sliders can be recorded. Their movement can be recorded and played back for a natural movement. For example, if you have jaw up, jaw down, for example, in lip sync is quite easy to do. You just simply move up and down according to the wav sound or the amplitude, and boom, you have the first pass at a lip sync. Not that you'd necessarily do it this way, but it has many uses that you'd be surprised about. Here we're doing a quick baking to keys, and you'll see as we play it, it's playing back. If you do the play blast, it's playing exactly as we move the thing in real time. So there's no keyframe at all there. It's all just smooth from one movement. And we're going. We have the navigation. We can navigate with a Rig Vadar. We don't have to move around much. All the pose bars are easily accessible, and it gives you an idea of everything that's being controlled by every control, and every control can be selected. Every slider and all its attributes, all its weights and curves can be selected from the one tab. And that makes for a lot of convenience. We're initializing control, and that's a very brief introduction to the pose bar of the Rig Vadar. Here we're looking at, this is the basic skinning, and there's no facial musculature at this stage. I'm just looking at the tongue, and the thing that I'd want to examine here is the left and right movement, and as we said before, the interpenetration, which is can be a problem if you don't use the facial musculature method.